Hi there, very good morning, welcome back. It's 7:41. Now, back in 2007, Russell Watson was rushed into hospital and told that without emergency brain surgery, he would die. Fearing he wouldn't survive, he begged the surgeons to let him see his two daughters one last time before his operation.
I just remember these two little blonde angels kind of striding into the room, and their faces when they saw the dad with tubes coming out of his hands and a mask on. The whole thing was just pretty poor, really. And I said, "It's okay, come here, I'm going to be all right." I didn't think I was going to be all right. Not for a minute, actually.
Well, we're very lucky this morning because Russell is with us now, fit and well, thank goodness, and back on the road to recovery.
Absolutely.
It's hard for you to watch that, isn't it? I mean, you said yourself it's very uncomfortable. And at the time...
Especially when I see anything that relates to the children.
Because that's what must have hit you the most, the feeling that you might lose this battle and they're the ones that would really suffer.
I think when you're going through something like that, when you're going through something that's potentially life-threatening, all you can think about is well, for me anyway, all I could think about was the people around me and how they'd manage without me, particularly my two girls. So that was probably the most difficult thing of all to deal with.
Gorgeous girls. And
they're beauts.
Are they watching this morning?
They are. I told them that I was on, so yeah.
Did they know how sick Dad was? Did they understand, do you think?
Probably after the first operation, I don't think they got a true reflection of how ill I was, but I think when the second one was such a shock to me and everybody else that I think that maybe at that point they recognised just how serious the condition was, because I was rushed into hospital and on the critical list.
Because talk us through that time. It's about 2 years ago now, because we knew you'd had your first operation for your tumour, and then all of a sudden you were rushed back in. It was all over the headlines, wasn't it? This emergency surgery you were going to have. Thankfully, it's all worked out very well. But what was wrong? Talk us through that.
I went to bed on a Tuesday night, and the next thing I remember waking up with an appalling headache. I couldn't see, and I was being wheeled down the stairs of my house by the paramedics and basically chucked in the back of an ambulance and rushed off to hospital. And I remember very little about it, and then I remember hearing people around me saying when they eventually got me to the hospital, they were running me into the MRI scanner. I could hear words like hemorrhage and immediate surgery, and I think that was the most poignant point for me. And I just thought, oh dear, I think I'm probably going to die.
Did you think this was it?
I did, yeah. Yeah, there was a point where I was in the MRI scanner, and I think because of everything that I'd been through during that period of time, I just kind of looked up and thought, oh, well, come and get me now. I've had enough.
Yeah. Just tell us what it was. It's a tumour in your pituitary gland, is that right? Which is about here?
It's called a pituitary tumour, yeah. The pituitary gland is responsible for regulating the flow of hormones around the body. I think there are something like 70... It's a rare condition, the tumour, but there are something like 70,000 people in the United Kingdom suffering with pituitary disorders.
It's hard to diagnose, I understand.
It's very difficult to diagnose because often the symptoms can reflect depression, bad vision, things like that, things that you wouldn't necessarily relate to tumours. And the reason for that is obviously it affects your hormonal flow, so you can get aggressive or very down and depressed.
People think it's depression instead. Now, I know you took a video diary, didn't you, of your treatment?
Yes.
What was that like, filming it all, and what kind of treatment did you go through?
Well, I think for me the toughest time of all, and the battle that I really wasn't expecting how tough it was going to be, was the radiotherapy. And that was about 18 months ago. That started New Year 2008. So that really did knock the stuffing out of me. But I think the message of the programme, the overall message of the programme is that I went through this horrific period in my life, and I've come out of the tunnel at the other end. I've worked really hard the past 18 months to get my physical fit, because I put, as a result of all the steroids I was taking, I put on a huge amount of weight. I put on about 2.5 stone, and also my voice was completely wrecked because the physiology of singing and everything.
I was going to say, because your voice is, as we all know and love you for your voice, it's an amazing voice. Are you still belting out those big notes, those big areas? Because that's challenging in its own right, isn't it?
Well, initially I found it incredibly difficult because of the pressure that's generated when you're singing. The physiological pressure that's generated makes it incredibly difficult to sing when you've had anything wrong with the brain area. So getting my voice back to kind of where it was an incredible fight. But thank God I've done it. It took a heck of a lot of hard work, but I've managed to pull it off.
And you've signed a new deal with Sony, so you're well back on the track, which is great. Cause
classical record next year, and I feel ready to rock again.
We can't wait to have you in the corner singing in a short while. You have to do that, won't you, in a few months' time for us?
I would love to do that.
It's great to see you. Thanks so much for coming on.
It's my pleasure.
Well done as well for getting right back on the track.
Oh, thank you.
And you, of course, can see Russell Watson Return of the Voice on tonight's programme, tomorrow night at ITV1 at 8 p.m. Do watch that, it's fantastic.
Just got to sort Christmas out now, that's the only other big thing.
I've got 2 very demanding children.
Yes, I'd expect
Right.
to satisfy. Great to see you, Russell.
Thank you.